This is Fantasy Football Today from CBSSports.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to a special presentation of Fantasy Football Today for CBS Local Sports. Adam Azer here, Jamie Eisenberg, Dave Richard. It's week one. We got to set lineups for the first time since December. Wow.
Yes. You excited about that, aren't you?
I'm very excited. And I need you to tell me who to start and who to sit. So that's what we're going to do here for you on Fantasy Football Today. Dave, I want to start with quarterback. Give me one to start. That's not so obvious.
I didn't want to draft Michael Vick at all, but now that we're here, he's healthy, the Eagles have Washington on Monday night, I'm going with Michael Vick. I think he's got a great chance to not only complete most of his passes, but all he needs are 2 or 3 little completions that go a long way, a couple of screens here or there that the receiver takes to the house, and he'll have a good stat line. He'll have a great stat line if he can run the ball on top of it, and that should happen for the Eagles. Vick is a top 12 quarterback for me.
Wow, who's one to sit?
You know, I love the Michael Vick start because I would actually start him over Cam Newton.
You
would have never drafted it that way. You would obviously take Cam to be your starter, Vick to be your backup, but flip it this week because Cam's got the brutal matchup of facing the Seahawks. He struggled against Seattle last season. He's going to struggle against them this year as well because those cornerbacks are going to be able to take away Steve Smith and Brandon LaFell. That's right, the other guy that nobody really talks about on the other side of the field from Steve Smith. I'm not worried about Greg Olsen. I'm not worried about the running game for Carolina. I think this is a Seattle victory in the easiest possible way. I don't trust Cam Newton this week. I would start Vick over him. I'd start Tony Romo over him. I'd start RG3 over him. I'd start, Andrew Luck over him. You want me to keep going?
No, that's okay. I think we get the point. Now, running backs here, we got Ben Tate as a start. Jamie, why would you start Ben Tate?
He's the start of the week. Of course you're going to start him. I think if you're talking about a flex option or a number 2 running back, Ben Tate has an opportunity here to be very successful. They should have a very easy time running the ball against the San Diego Chargers in that second Monday night game. And I think Arian Foster's still worth starting, still should be a top 15 running back, even though he didn't play at all in the preseason. But because he didn't play in the preseason, Ben Tate averaged 5.7 yards per carry, absolutely looked like he could be a starter in any team in the NFL, and certainly could start for the Houston Texans. These two teams are going to split these two running backs, are going to split carries and take it again. Either be a number 2 running back, depending on what your roster looks like, or a flex option. Like him better than Eddie Lacy, like him better than your favorite running back of all time, Ryan Matthews, in that same game.
Oh, wow.
Like him better than Mendenhall. I could keep going on that list as well. I think Ben Tate has an opportunity to be real successful.
Now, hold on a second. You like Arian Foster too, though, right?
Yeah, as I said, could be a top 15 running back too. Tate could be a top 20 guy.
Could it be possible that 2 Texans running backs are better than the best Chargers running back for this week? Because I think Ryan Matthews is the guy you sit this week. I don't
think you're going to make this guy cry.
No, come on. I mean, look, I'm not going to start him against the Texans if I don't have to.
Smart,
think
smart.
about what it would take for Ryan Matthews to have a great fantasy week. A lot of carries, a lot of yardage, a couple touchdowns too. That would be outstanding, right? Houston's got a great run defense. Matthews isn't going to play as much because they brought in Daniel Woodhead. He's got a role in that offense. Matthews is a stinker this week against the Texans. I like both of those Texans running backs way better than him. I like Giovanni Bernard better than him this week. I even like 2 Colts running backs, Ahmad Bradshaw and Vic Ballard, to do better than Ryan Matthews in week 1.
Okay, I will not be starting Ryan Matthews in fantasy week 1. Now, Miles Austin is another situation that we should talk about because almost every time the Cowboys and Giants play, we see a lot of points on the board. Miles Austin, start him?
Yeah, especially when he faces the Giants, because this is part of the reason why a lot of those points come on the board. Miles Austin's a significant contributor to that. The fact is, when Miles Austin is healthy, he produces. And right now he's healthy. He says the hamstring problem's not an issue. The Giants defense, hopefully they'll have Jason Pierre-Paul on the field. But even if they do, that secondary right now very banged up. And I think you'll see this Dallas offense, especially this passing attack, be able to attack that secondary. And you can't throw every pass. I know Tony Romo would like to. Can't throw every pass to Dez Bryant, Jason Witten. Miles Austin's going to get his share as well. I think he's a top 24 receiver this week.
Dave, without humiliating someone the way we just humiliated Ryan Matthews, give me a wide receiver to sit.
Well, Joe Hayden has done a pretty good job humiliating Mike Wallace when he was in Pittsburgh. Now Mike Wallace has gotten paid. He's in Miami. He doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger throwing him to it anymore. It's Ryan Tannehill. And I think Joe Hayden is going to stick on Ryan Wallace's pocket like he wants some of the money that Wallace got paid as a free agent. So I would stay away. I pretty much want to stay away from any Dolphin not named Lamar Miller. But Mike Wallace especially is somebody that I could see having a tough game this week. I think Brian Hartline might actually be a better receiver than Wallace this week if you're feeling a little gutsy when it comes to your receivers.
One catch for 9 yards last year against Hayden.
Wow.
Yes.
In Cleveland.
Not good.
In Cleveland.
Now let's talk about tight ends to start and sit. We got Jared Cook as a start. I'll give this one to Dave.
I love Jared Cook this week. I couldn't even resist, Adam. I put him 3rd in my rankings. I think he's going to be outstanding against Arizona. I don't know how the Cardinals are going to be able to cover him. I think the Rams brought him to St. Louis for a reason. They're going to take advantage of matchups. And Sam Bradford and this new passing offense that St. Louis is going to unveil is going to look for Cook, and he's going to put up some big numbers this week.
Yeah, in each game last year for the Rams, the tight end, in terms of Lance Kendrick, scored a touchdown against the Cardinals, and clearly Cook an upgrade over Lance Kendrick.
And continuing our theme of Jamie loves that Seattle defense, give me a tight end to sit.
Yeah, I'm going to sit Greg Olsen. They were actually, the Seahawks were number 2 in fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends last year, and I think it's going to continue again this season. Greg Olsen's fine. He's a solid tight end over the course of 16 games. But week to week, he's not going to be a guaranteed starter. I think this is one of those weeks where you sit him. Also struggled in that game last year against Seattle, and I think it's going to happen again. There are a lot of tight ends you can start over him. You mentioned Jared Cook, Zach Sudfeld, Jordan Cameron.
Yep.
Maybe you could even consider somebody like Tyler Eifert, making his NFL debut.
Brandon Myers?
Brandon Myers is somebody you could
How
consider
about
as well.
Julius Thomas?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Really?
That'd be a tough one. Well,
I like Julius Thomas. I would go with him.
okay, well, that's a special presentation of Fantasy Football Today here for CBS Local Sports. For Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg, I'm Adam Azer. If you want the latest rankings, go to fantasynews.cbssports.com.